Hey everybody, this is Nate coming to you from Palen Music Center down here in Springfield, Missouri, and we are going to take a look and do a deep dive on the PRS Wind Through the Trees dual analog flanger. That's a mouthful, okay? This pedal's got a lot going on. Why in the world would I need a dual analog flanger in a pedal? Well, I'm going to tell you, there's some cool stuff here. Very, very inspirational pedal. Let me start off by explaining the knobbery. Don't get to say that often, but when I do, I will. All right, so here we are. So you've got basically two flangers, thus the dual analog flange portion of the pedal. You've got manual, depth, and rate. I'm going to explain what those are. Down here, I'm switching this over to LFO1, which is this part of the flanger here. The reason I'm doing that is just because I just want you to hear what these knobs are doing without being blended with the other one, okay? So, up first, here we go. Manual, what is that? The manual knob increases or decreases the amount of time from the dry signal to when it starts flanging, right? And I think for those of you, you may not even know what flange is. If I remember right, somebody comment below and call me out on this if this isn't right. I think the Beatles actually one of the first people to start doing flange. They had two tape machines, analog reel-to-reel tape machines. And I think one of them, one Beatle, put his Beatle finger on the tape of one machine, and then it started, building up. All the tape is kind of getting, as you would imagine. And then he let it off, and while the other one was still playing that same track. So they had a track that they double tracked and took one of the tracks and then bunched up the tape, let it go. And then as it was catching up, that's the sound of flange. Comment below if you know the particulars of that story. But I think that's the myth anyway. So as I turn the manual up, listen to it. The time between the dry signal and the flange really gets increased and it gets a little warbly. Speaking of warble, if I go to depth and I crank that up, that is the extent of the sweep of the flange that you're hearing, right? And then rate, and I'm just going to leave all these in the middle here. Rate, if I crank that up, that's how fast that flange cycle is happening. And all the way like that, as you can see, this little indicator is kind of giving you the particulars on what your rate knob is doing. But if you listen to just that right there, it's very chorus-like, right? Now over here, you've got your regeneration. That's how long the tail is on the flange. That's got to be turned up to my ear. I like that. And then in the process of doing all this, you might lose a little bit of high end. And this adds a little bit more of that sparkle back to your flange. So added highs, which is always a benefit. How about that? And then you've got your wet dry mix. So this is just guitar. By the way, playing through the MT15 PRS amp. And then this is all flange all the way up here. So now that we've done all that, then you've got this other, your second flange pedal here. And the benefit of that is, twofold here really, is that you can actually have these be the exact same and get kind of a double thick flange. Or what I'd like to do is maybe have this one be a little more dramatic, right? So I'm just going to bend this down here to where you're just on this booger right here. And then now, go back to this guy. Let's say maybe we're doing one of these. Almost making kind of a slow, warbly chorus. And now we can go right up between the two of them. I don't know why, too. Anytime I hear a sound like that, I instantly want to be on kind of those in-between positions. I really feel like this pedal is going to scratch the itch for those of you who are constantly seeking different chorusy sounds. I've got a buddy named Jay who is so into chorus, and he would love this pedal. So another question that comes up is, what is that going to sound like, with some gain to it? I'm going to flip this up here, and boy, there it goes. What ends up happening is you end up getting a ton of harmonic content that comes screaming out of there like you opened up one of them them things that's got the snake comes out of it. I'm down here in Southwest Missouri. We got that kind of stuff. Anyway, but it's a lot of harmonic content and starts screaming out of that thing. It's pretty cool. So if you have any other questions about this pedal, as far as availability, as far as what else it can do, as far as maybe what other pedals we might put with it, give us a call. We love talking about this stuff. 417-882-7006. Or visit us at palenmusic.com. We'll see you soon.